thing was, it was a moto. And the moto went around in a circle. It went around in a circle in the middle of the street. So I said, what the hell? So I stopped and I paused. Mind you, I had snacks with me. So me and Snacks, I'm looking at Snacks, I'm like, Snacks, back up a little bit. Because we're on the phone waiting for the Uber. I look again, and the thing circles and stops. I'm like, oh. Good morning, world. The narrative of Colombia is tough. Because it's easy to put the blame when a lot of people don't want to take responsibility. The first day I was here, I seen somebody get robbed. And I said this on the last live, but I'll say it again. The first day, literally not even 2 to 3 hours passed when I arrived Friday at 12:30. I arrived at 12:30 at the airport. I got to my Airbnb around 1:15. By 1:30, I witnessed a person get robbed.
There you go, baby. There you go, baby. That's my Michelle. That's my Michelle.
Now, a lot of people would say that should never happen in Medellín. That is why Medellín is dangerous. That's why it's bad. And we have to keep having these conversations because eventually, occasionally a lot of people miss when we do have these conversations. There were a lot of things this brother could have did. And I'm not blaming him, he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying, there are things that his team could have did in a collective that would have made this possibility of robbery less active. First step, there were 4 of them, but for some reason, the first 3 had walked way up the street and he was walking by himself at 4 in the morning through El Poblado back way. Cool. Secondly, the matter of what he had on, I do the same. He probably just wanted to dress up because his girl had on a nice outfit. The other gentleman had on a nice outfit. They were dressed up. They wasn't down in street clothes. So they was dressed up, flashy, which is nothing wrong with that. I do it too. But to add to that, he had a bunch of chains around his neck. A bunch of chains, maybe like three or four chains around his neck. Not like the big godly chains, but the ones that, it sticks out. On top of that, back to the dressing part, he had white pants on and a red shirt. I would do something like that, but I'm catching a cab. Again, accountability matters when you determine whether or not a place is safe. And a lot of people are not taking accountability. I'm walking with 2 bad, they were bad, they looked good, women from another country. They're not from Colombia. 2 women from another country. Why am I walking from Parque Yeris Club to my Airbnb at 4 o'clock in the morning? There's an Uber. You don't want to take Uber? Pay extra for the cab. That's another thing that I would personally never do. I'm only about a 5-minute walk from where I'm staying to Parque Yeris or to Provincia. So if I'm taking a cab for a 5-minute walk, why would you? Why would you not? Accountability, y'all. Secondly, another thing. I don't understand the logic in this. Maybe it's because it was the woman's first time, but in Colombia. But the guy on top of that had one of the straps with all his money in it. He had on I think he had on a watch. He had on a watch too, and he had the girl's identification, one girl's identification, and the other girl's passport in his strap on. You gave all this stuff to the most flashiest one out the group. But I think I can understand why they gave it to him. This guy had to be like 6'2", 190, maybe 210, but he was brolic and tall. So maybe they felt as though giving it to him was the smartest idea, as if there's not a such thing as a gun. Now, when I was watching it, it looked a little confusing. And the reason why it looked confusing is because there were other people out there. Now, I don't know if all the other people were part of it, but I think so. Because they have been, I'm assuming they've been walking for a long time. Somebody spotted them. So when I seen it, it was a bunch of, first thing was, it was a moto. And the moto went around in a circle. It went around in a circle in the middle of the street. So I said, what the hell? So I stopped and I paused. Mind you, I had snacks with me. So me and Snacks, I'm looking at Snacks, I'm like, Snacks, back up a little bit. Because we're on the phone waiting for the Uber. I look again, and the thing circles and stops. I'm like, oh, and I see a bunch of dudes running across the street. I see the dude on the bike. I think I see the dude on the bike. Don't quote me on it, but I think, he probably can tell you more if you meet him. I think I see the dude on the bike whip out the gun, pointing at the guy, and start yelling. Now you hear all this yelling. Now the yelling lasted about 3 minutes. So I don't know if it was the guys that ran over trying with guns, if they had guns also, and the guy on the bike had a gun. But there was apparently a setup because those guys that were sitting there, mind you, we have been sitting waiting for Uber with Snacks. So those guys who have been sitting at that area, for them to run over to where he got robbed at the exact same time the moto guy was there, it do make me feel like it was a setup. It do make me feel like it was a setup. But again, y'all, accountability. To not include accountability when you include a place being dangerous is outrageous. It's not logical. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't account for an inclusive perspective of what exactly occurred. So he gave it up. I don't even know why the ordeal lasted like 4 to 5 minutes. So either, and it didn't seem like he was arguing. So I'm thinking they just got him for everything. They took their sweet time and got him for everything he had because he had the chains on. I think he had a watch on. He might have had some money in his pocket with a wallet. He had the bag across the thing. Easy lick. At 4 o'clock in the morning, walking with a guy and 2 women. If I'm walking with my homie, me and my homie know the strategy. If they get close enough, bust a move. I'll distract him. You bust a move on that gun. And once you get hold of that gun, we're going all out. But if I'm with women, we gotta give it up. So I don't understand. It was a lot. Like I said, I spoke about it earlier. There was a lot of things in that situation of this guy getting robbed that I did not. And mind you, the whole time I'm sitting there looking like, but I'm telling the woman I'm telling Snacks to back up because of the fact that we're on a corner. We're on this corner, and they're like in the middle of the street, but literally across this corner is a corner here, is a corner here across the street, like a little 30-second walk. And then 30 seconds away, that's where they're getting robbed. That's where he's getting robbed. 30 seconds away is where he's getting robbed. So I have a clear line of sight of how everything is going down. Clear line of sight. So this happened on Friday. So I'm telling her to back up because we both got our phones out waiting for the Uber, and she sees. Snack goes up. Like, all right, but we still on the hill, so we could still see everything going down. And they never looked our way. They was locked in on him. That's another reason why I think it was a setup. Because if somebody's robbing somebody, you're trying to rob everyone in that area. And they didn't for a second look at me or the Snacks that was sitting there on our phone looking. So, and could he have rode over there with the gun? Yeah, but we probably would have just ran out the way and he'd have been there too long. Police could have came. Maybe he was thinking about that. I don't know. So then they go. Now everybody goes to try to help him. Oh, you okay? Do no habla. He doesn't speak Spanish. The guy doesn't speak Spanish. And the guy, I know he was emotional, so I'm giving him some leeway with that because he just got robbed. But hearing his tone and mannerisms doesn't sound like he was from an urban area. Doesn't sound like he was from the hood. Doesn't sound like he was a black guy. But it doesn't sound like he was from a place where he may have insight on how not to move or how to be aware of your surroundings. See, because I think that's the part that a lot of people miss when they say, hey, people, you gotta have common sense. I think everybody has common sense, but what makes a person from a particular area's common sense more intuitive or more applicable for another country is simply because I know late night in Newark, New Jersey, if I'm walking down 8th Street, if I'm walking down one of the back blocks, number blocks, I'm on my eyes on the swivel all the time. And I shouldn't be walking down the block either way. But that is something that you may not understand if you're not from the urban environment. And I believe that I could be wrong, but I don't feel that he was. And I think that's another reason why he had all that stuff on him, walking by himself. And all this could have been saved if he would have all this could have been saved if the brothers and the 2 girls would have just took a taxi from where they was at, took an Uber from where they was at, back to their crib. It literally did. In my head, I'm looking like, dog, none of this makes sense. And they was bad. I'm like, none of this makes sense. None of y'all look broke. Y'all don't look like y'all can't afford an Uber. Y'all don't look like y'all can't afford a taxi to pay even the gringo price taxi. Why would y'all think y'all can walk at least 7 blocks? It's at least 7 blocks to where they got robbed at from Parquilleras. So I don't know how far they had to walk more, but why would y'all think y'all could walk 7 blocks at 3:30 in the morning? And none of y'all speak Spanish. None of y'all from around here. Y'all got expensive stuff on you. Why do you think, and why would you even have your passport? It was just so many questions. But it is what it is, y'all. I just wanted to give that out to you guys because, again, every time I hear somebody say Medellín is not safe, I break down the craziness. It's another guy. No.